At 2:17 a.m. on a rainy Tuesday in October 2013, a man sat alone in his car outside a closed supermarket in Scranton, Pennsylvania, staring at a rejection email that felt heavier than it should have. No one knew he was breaking. No one heard the same question echoing in his mind again and again. Why am I trying so hard if nothing is changing? If you're silently struggling right now, there's a chance this story already feels too familiar. There is a kind of pain that never announces itself. It doesn't shout. It doesn't collapse in public. It simply follows you quietly from room to room. You wake up, you show up, you do what's expected, and you tell people you're fine, because explaining the truth feels like too much work. You're tired, but not the kind of tired sleep fixes. You feel behind in life, even though you're doing everything you were told was right. This is the struggle nobody claps for. In 2013, John Rivera was living inside that silence. He was 29 years old, working as a warehouse supervisor, earning just enough to survive. He had no addictions, no scandals, no dramatic failures. On paper, his life looked stable. But stability without progress slowly becomes a cage. Every year looked exactly like the one before it. Same job, same worries, same quiet disappointment he never spoke out loud. John wasn't lazy. He worked 6 days a week. He helped pay his younger sister's tuition. He volunteered on Sundays. And still, he felt like life was passing him by. That's the part no one prepares you for. You can be responsible, hard-working, and still feel like you're failing. So you stop talking about it. You convince yourself you have no right to complain. You tell yourself other people have it worse. And slowly, you turn inward. You begin to believe the problem must be you. Silent struggle grows there. On March 4th, 2014, John received another rejection email from a company he had interviewed with 3 times. No explanation, just a polite sentence saying they had moved on. That night, he didn't cry. He didn't call anyone. He sat in his car long after the engine cooled, staring at nothing. That's what silent struggle looks like. You keep moving, but without hope, like pushing a car uphill with the engine off. Everyone sees movement. No one sees the exhaustion. Think of it this way. A cracked cup still holds water, but it leaks slowly. Silent struggle leaks your energy, your confidence, your belief in yourself. And because it leaks quietly, you don't notice how empty you're becoming until one day you're almost dry. John's turning point didn't come from motivation or inspiration. It came from an uncomfortable moment of honesty. On June 12, 2014, during a late shift, his manager, Elaine Morris, asked him a simple question. What do you actually want? John couldn't answer. That silence exposed the real problem. He wasn't stuck because he lacked ability. He was stuck because he had been surviving for so long that he forgot how to aim. Silent struggle isn't just pain. It's directionless endurance. You're strong, but you're walking in circles. Elaine told him something he never forgot. Working hard without direction feels like drowning slowly. You're moving, but you're still sinking. That sentence followed him home. On July 1st, 2014, John did something small but dangerous. He wrote down the truth. No optimism, no pretending. He admitted he didn't want to just survive anymore. He wanted growth. He wanted proof that effort could lead somewhere. It wasn't a miracle moment. It was a clarity moment. And clarity changes everything. Here's something most people never hear. Silent struggle isn't weakness. It's often the result of being too strong for too long. You become the dependable one, the calm one, the one who never asks for help. Over time, people stop checking in, not because they don't care, but because you taught them you don't need it. That's how people get stuck for years. They confuse silence with strength. They confuse endurance with progress. In 2016, a Stanford behavioral study found that people who suppress struggle experience deeper burnout, not because of stress, but because of unexpressed directionlessness. In simple terms, if you never say where you're hurting, you'll never be shown where to heal. John realized this slowly. In 2015, he applied for a supply chain certification he believed he wasn't good enough for. He wasn't confident, he was afraid. But here's the truth that changes lives. Confidence does not come before action. Action creates confidence. He studied after work, failed 2 quizzes, passed the 3rd, and each small win rebuilt something inside him. Not because life got easier, but because he proved his doubts wrong. If you're silently struggling, listen carefully. Your mind is not a judge, it's a storyteller, and right now it's telling a tired story. You don't need a new personality, you need a new pattern. John finished that program on May 18, 2016. 6 weeks later, he received a job offer from a regional logistics firm. Same man, same past, different direction. Nothing magical happened, but everything meaningful did. Years later, in 2021, John spoke at a local seminar. Someone asked him what the hardest part of his journey was. His answer surprised everyone. Not the failures, not the rejections. The hardest part was pretending I was okay when I wasn't. That almost kept me stuck forever. Here's the twist. Your silent struggle isn't invisible because it's small. It's invisible because you hide it too well. And here's the lesson that matters most. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are carrying more than you were meant to carry alone. If this message found you during a quiet moment, take it as a sign, not to panic, not to quit, but to pause. Progress doesn't begin with loud change. It begins with honest acknowledgement. Say it, even if only to yourself. I am struggling, and I deserve direction, not just endurance. Because the moment you stop surviving in silence, life finally gives you something to respond to. And that is where everything begins.